All right, fellas, thank y'all for being here today. Now, got another episode of Requesting Good Company. This one looks a little bit different. We've got a draft day review. We are looking at how we feel like our team drafted, how we feel like we did, um, what direction we feel like we're headed in, and it's an open discussion. So I hope you all enjoy. We'll go ahead and get started. To start off with the team with the number one pick in the draft, and what I believe honestly is the best pick in the draft. Bryce Young to the Carolina Panthers. We've got Jonathan Mingo out of Ole Miss. We've got the Oregon Edge, DJ Johnson. We got another offensive lineman in Chandler Zavala. I don't know. And then we went DB from Florida State, Jamie Robinson. I don't feel great. If I'm being honest. While I think pick number one was fantastic, I look at the draft and realize we only drafted 5, and next year will look similar because we put ourselves in this position. We're not getting back what we were supposed to. We traded picks for Baker. We traded picks for Sam Darnold. We got a few back for Christian McCaffrey just to trade them all for the number one pick to the Bears. You'll look at the Bears; they got about 10 players on their team thanks to us, and I'm devastated. I'm devastated. I would give this grade a D. A D. Jonathan Mingo, out of all the receivers there, I just don't know much about him. Not impressed. These big, tall, athletic receivers from Ole Miss do good enough to get paid, but not good enough to win anything. I don't think that's the guy. I'm kind of glad we went receiver. Hope I'm wrong. I feel like we already have Terrace Marshall, who does the exact same thing Mingo does. These other guys, Oregon's D line was nothing impressive. It's an unfriendly reminder. It's gonna be a while, and I will open the floor to any questions or challenges that we have for the Carolina Panthers. We'll go. Avery's unmuted, so I think he might have something to say about my guys.
I do have a question. Who is y'all's current running back?
I wish I could answer without thinking about that.
No, I'm legit asking that
Miles
question.
Sanders. They gave him 13 and a half.
Miles will be coming in. But so as far as who's starting, I'm not sure because we had a guy come in late and start to tear it up a little bit. Who?
Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah. He fumbles though.
All-time backup. He knows his role. But what I'm saying is, I think that it's not going to be as weak as you make, like how you were assuming it's not going to be happening sooner than later. Miles Sanders is a winner. Bryce Young, a winner. They might be able to pull some things off offensively in that weak division that they are in. So it might not look like a good draft on board, but they did a lot of stuff in the free agencies that make it look okay. They are a mid-tier team. And I think that in a division of mid-tier, they have a chance.
I think my question is, now the real question is, I mean, last year you guys went and got no boy from NC State. But now the question is that DJ Moore is gone. And who takes over that number one role at receiver? Are we assuming Terrace Marshall sets up to it, or could Mingo be that guy?
Well, we cleared out our room. So there was DJ, and if y'all remember, we had to deal with Robbie Anderson before he went to the Cardinals and did the same nothing that he did with us for a long, long time. Like I said, don't feel like we addressed some of the necessary stuff. Mingo is a finger cross and a long shot as far as what we might need. If we were going to do this, I'd rather just keep getting the defensive linemen, go 7-9, and see what we can do. Like this is punishment. I do think Bryce is the guy. I think that was the right number one pick. I think he's the best player in this draft. I think all time I'm a big fan of what his potential is. I think Hayden Hurst has seen better days. I think Adam Thielen has seen better days. I think Miles Sanders has too much mileage. It's just like y'all
got Hayden Hurst. I didn't know that.
Yeah, well,
I didn't know about it. I forgot about Thielen, but I really did not know you guys got Hurst. Might not be too bad. At least you got a veteran presence.
Smith leading the receiver room this year for you guys. Calling it now.
I feel like I could lead that receiver room for us right now.
Oh, don't do your team like that now. That hurt.
I'm gonna say now Thielen. Now let's not be confused. Now he was maybe outshined by some say arguably is the best receiver in the game currently, but I still say Thielen is a solid receiver. He's a veteran presence. I would say CK. He's kind of like the Musa Muhammad role that you guys had back in the day. He's that kind of guy for you. Possibly.
I don't know if I'm more disrespected by like that name coming up or everybody else agreeing with the fact that might be like what that like. Are we
the veteran voice in the locker room?
What Muhammad is all time, bro. Muhammad might be top 5 all time in the Panthers franchise.
Hold on,
Brian.
In receivers.
I was gonna say that that's not now. Hold on, CK. Let's also go with before JJ, like Thielen. I feel like injuries has played a part in it, but dude is still a dog when he's healthy. Now, if you want to argue the durability factor, I mean that's one thing, but I think the comparison to Musa Muhammad back in the day, I think that's fair. Y'all might not have missed, but I think he can be that Musa Muhammad for y'all.
I think he would be a good position coach, more so than a wide receiver.
I mean, and that's what he's gonna do. I mean, he's just gonna have pads on too, like We're
headed to Philadelphia, fellas. We're headed to the Philadelphia Bulldogs.
Wow,
go ahead and go ahead and tell us how you feel about the draft, and then we'll get into some questions about the team.
Y'all already know. If y'all have seen any Sports Center or any kind of headlines, if you've even watched a little bit of the draft, the Philadelphia Eagles names were brought up multiple times. All we did was take a great team and just prepare for our future and became better. We went to Super Bowl last year. We didn't have the outcome we wanted. And in this draft, it seems like we're going to take care of that, and we'll be back next year. Our first round pick at 9 was Jalen Carter, who some people said was the best person in the draft. I agree with them. Our second first round pick, because Howie planned for the future, unlike some other teams, he planned for the future. So we had 2 first round draft picks. He got linebacker. They have him listed as a linebacker. He's obviously an edge.
He can do a little bit of, he can do everything, right?
He can do everything. It's.
Might drop back into the nickel.
Ain't no telling. Might play safety. We need a safety. Got Nolan Smith. Then he was like, well, let's just stay in the trenches, but let's flip the side. Let's go to the other side. In the second round, he got an offensive lineman from Bama, Taj Dean, who kind of reminds me of that guy from the Ravens. I think it's Stanley or something like that, right? I don't know. But that's beyond the point. And then Ronnie Stanley. That's who he reminds me of. Yeah. And then we went out and addressed a need. We got Sidney Brown. Then the fourth round comes around, and we're like, we got to be done. We've done too much already. Nah, we got Ringo, another dog. Dog.
Dog. Dodie Devon, dog. Sir Hale, dog. He scored 5 touchdowns against Southside. RJ Hogue, dog. Sam Cale, I didn't even know he played running back, but he's a dog. Evan Linker, man, he's a linebacker in my eyes, but I guess he can run the ball. Dog.
Like, I was like, this is insane. What is happening? And it was like, there's been so many years where you're like, you suck at this job. Like when we got Arcega Whiteside instead of DK, when we got Rager instead of Justin Jefferson, we're like, you can't do this job. And Philly, they'll persecute you. So we finally, it seems like the past 2-3 years, he's actually made some placements, and I like it. Dre told me he would like to say something. He wrote it to me, so I want to go ahead and say it.
Shout out to Dre.
Shout out to Dre. He said, well, I think we had a great draft. I think Ringo is the piece that I like the most. He is a first and second round talent found in the fourth. I'm not a fan of the Georgia stuff, but the Ringo was a solid and logical pick. I'd assume there's not going to be many questions about this.
Oh, I've got a few.
Okay. Well,
I got a couple about that, but go ahead.
Kyle, go ahead and start us off.
No, I was going to say, Smooth. Now, hold on. Now, if I just remember, maybe it's before the draft. I thought you actually didn't you guys just sign a corner? Actually, like talented guy. What? Tripping. Besides Ringo, I thought before the draft you guys just signed a corner. No.
I think Slay, he was about to leave.
No, Slay stayed.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure you guys just signed a.
Okay. I would consider what Philadelphia has at the moment to be an embarrassment of riches. I think they have far too much talent, and there's going to be a payday and a sacrifice. You can't have 5 all-pro offensive linemen, a quarterback that's $255 million, 2 wide receiver ones, a D-line that's all looking to get paid. So it's essentially there's going to come a day when you're going to have to sacrifice. When that day comes, which position group are you willing to sacrifice and still be successful?
That's the problem. I don't think you have to sacrifice any of them. If you've seen over the past, like if you've looked at the past 2 seasons, he's been building this up for a reason. The only person that truly got paid was Jalen. And what you're saying is somebody else is going to need money eventually. Hargrove needed money. Hargrove got up out of there. We filled that position with the draft pick because he's doing it based off of the drafts as well. Like, I think of the AJ Brown pick being from the Alshon Jeffries era. Like, Alshon got up out of there. Ertz got up out of there. We got AJ to fill that. We had Goddard from a draft. Ertz out of there, Goddard up. It's up next man up mentality. That's what it's been looking like. And it's successful. Our offensive line, we got 2 starters over from a draft a couple years ago. And then you still got Lane and you still got Jason Kelsey. We just drafted Lane's replacement when he's out of there. We don't got, it's a continuous payment role. People gonna get up out. But Philly builds a culture where they like it there. It's not about the money in Philly for some reason. People don't go to Philly to get paid. People go to Philly to enjoy and get the dubs. They like Philly. They like the fans. They like Jeffrey. They like Howie. They like Sirianni. They like Philly. They like the fans. They like Philly. It's not Miami, but it's Philly, and people like it.
And then just last point on that. So they don't come for the money, but you have the second highest paid quarterback in the whole thing.
that was drafted. He didn't come for the money. He was drafted and earned the money.
And Hurts earned $250 million.
I was going to ask. So one MVP can make you the highest paid player in history.
He should have won the MVP. He's made the playoffs ever since he's been a starter, and he took him to the Super Bowl last year. If you want to solidify your team and have a leader who's going to stay, you pay the man.
He deserves to be paid. Earned it is kind of.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's close.
What's the difference of deserving and earning?
He's given enough on the field to make you like you're similar to how you're saying it. You do have to pay someone trending in the direction he's trending. As far as looking at what he's done, it's giving off a Joe Flacco vibe.
Never not made the playoffs as a starter. Should have won the MVP last year. Got hurt one game. Came back, performed in the Super Bowl. Won 3 playoffs games after being hurt. I don't understand.
That's all I have on the Eagles. That's all I have.
I asked, what, in your opinion, what is the weakest room in your guys' locker?
Bathroom.
I'm sorry?
Cowboys.
Hey,
we're headed to the Cowboys.
Kick him out.
The bathroom. No, I'm going to answer that honestly. I'm going to answer that honestly besides saying the bathroom. The weakest room in our facility currently at the moment, currently as it stands right now, I would say is our linebacker room. But with it depends on what kind of defense you're about to start running, because it seems like we got a lot of people with the hand in the dirt that can stand up. So
y'all going the wrong direction. League putting more and more receivers on the field. Y'all like that, like y'all trying to stop the triple option or something.
Oh, but our secondary room is it's all right. It's all right, y'all. We gonna see. You got one. I can't wait to get to Cowboys. I got a lot to say on y'all.
I'm glad we made it past that. And Dre, we miss you, but we don't, because that would have been miserable. Headed to the Cowboys, man. Talk to us.
It was a weird draft because it's not like we had anything that we absolutely needed. If they like we need a number, we need a wide receiver one. Like we got a wide receiver, we got a cornerback one, like to lock somebody up. Even though Trayvon, he gets his jokes, he gives up just as much as he takes. But in Jerry's eyes, we got a cornerback one. We didn't need a Pro Bowl pass rusher because we got 2 of those. We got our offensive line, even though they are often hurt at this point because they owe. So it's not like we needed to address that by drafting a guard or a tackle. Quarterback, as much as I am, slowly stepping away from the Dakota Prescott bandwagon, we got that. So it's not like we really need anything. We just need to shore something up, sure. And our run defense is bad, like bottom third of the league, and that's what we did with our first pick in Mozzie Smith. Like we were 22nd in the league in run defense last year, and he knows that he's just coming in there to plug up the run. So that, all those Philadelphia, 4th and 1, 4th and 2 quarterback sneaks, maybe a few of them not as successful. Next, we lost Dalton Schultz to a free agency. Even though I think he only got like a 1-year deal, and it wasn't a lot. But we told him, you know what, you want to go test it? Go ahead. Drafted a tight end 2nd round out of Michigan, Luke Schoonmaker, which, I don't know too much about him, but he looked like, he can actually block, which was something that Dalton wasn't a big fan of, but also can stretch the field when necessary. Got a project linebacker in the 3rd round, DeMarvion Overshawn out of Texas. Apparently, you should be a safety, and that's not what I want to hear with drafting an inside linebacker. But, he can run, he can cover, and on those, 3rd and longs, maybe you stick him out there, but also just a special teams player. Draft another defensive end in the 4th round out of San Jose State, VME Fahoko. I wonder if he's related to the receiver that's already on our team, Simi. Drafted another Dan Quinn corner in the 6th round. It's got 6'2" with long arms, and Dan Quinn likes those. special moment. I finally saw the video with Deuce Vaughn, his dad making a call to him, asking if he how do you feel about coming to work with him the next week. That was pretty cool to see. Not often do you get to see that a parent working for an NFL organization gets to call them and tell their son that they've been drafted, and to see how emotional he got when it got announced. That was pretty cool. And then we finished it off drafting a receiver out of South Carolina, just to add depth. I don't think Jalen Tolbert's going to be on our roster at the end of this year. He was a second or third round pick from last year, the year before, and he just ain't done nothing. So he's probably going to get cut. All in all, I thought it was average. Nothing to be excited about, nothing to write home about, nothing to go crazy over. We'll see if Mozzie can contribute to stopping the run and see if this tight end can add to our already young tight end group. Like, I honestly didn't think that we were going to use a top 3-round pick on a tight end just because of Jake Ferguson and Peyton Hendershot. Like, I felt like we had 2 young tight ends that could hold up. Like, we probably could have got another corner somewhere else earlier or something like that. But all in all, average, nothing to go crazy over. Now let me hear the Cowboy hate.
I got a 2-parter, and then
yeah,
I know Avery's got at least a comment on where they stand. Is the coach's seat hot at all?
I think the head coaching seat is. And offensively, even though he just took over the play calling, we let Kellen go. Honestly, I'm not even sure who we brought in as an offensive coordinator by label, but it's going to be on McCarthy. And it really just feels like it's Dan Quinn's job to turn down if McCarthy is let go.
Okay, so that's my second part to the question. I'd say if it's not at least 9 games, he's pretty much thank you for your time.
Yeah. But then again, we also known Jerry to hold on to coaches way longer than he needed to. I mean, look at the guy that McCarthy came in and replaced. Garrett was a solid 8-8 over the majority of his career and could have been let go probably 4 years before we finally did. But Jerry likes those guys that tell him yes. So that's what McCarthy is. Another Garrett with a ring.
Last part to the coaching question, then let's move headed your way. So Dan Quinn feels like the reason I'm asking is the rumor is Lincoln.
It was Lincoln when we chose McCarthy.
Between the two, what's your preference?
I mean, the league is offense driven.
Okay.
I hope that Dan is comfortable just being where he at. He ain't got to be the head coach guy. He did that. He experienced that in Atlanta. He's fine being a defensive coordinator, and he has built our defense into one of the best in the league, which is saying something because we knew before Dan Quinn our defense was god-awful. So hopefully, we get the best of both worlds. Maybe Dan's like, I'm comfortable staying here, defensive coordinator, bringing in a new head coach if he's happy to have me who can, run that side of the ball. I wanted Lincoln before we settled on McCarthy, but for obvious reasons, Jerry went with McCarthy. And I think Lincoln used a little bit of us to get a little bit more money from Oklahoma, and then he slid to USC the year after. But yeah, best of both worlds. Give me both. But if I had to choose, Dan Quinn, just because he already know the guys.
Okay, so if Dan Quinn operates off the theory of the grass is greener where you water it, and stays as a defensive coordinator, you're not upset?
No, not at all. Because he could have left at the end of this past season. He could have left at the end of his first season, but he wanted to stay put, and I thank him for it because what he did with our defense is incredible.
I stalled as long as I could. April, headed your way.
No, it's fine, man. I'm ready for it.
Oh, no. I have no hate towards the draft. There was just a couple things that were interesting to me in the draft from the Cowboys. I do have a question as well. My first question would be, what is the weakest room for the Cowboys? I'd really like to know that.
I would probably have to say just because we have all young guys, the tight ends. But if we're talking about prime time, like the playmakers, I'd say our receivers, just because I don't know behind CD. Gallup is often injured. And T.Y., he's old. Cooks, he's on his 9th team in 6 years. Like, that boy he's been the most traded player in NFL history, I think. So I'd be concerned about our receiver room. And golly, our running backs. Tony Pollard's coming off of a leg injury. We let Zeke go. We brought in Ronald Jones, who did what? Like the more I think about it, the more
Whoa. Rojo's
Rob
a champion.
that Super Bowl.
Rojo's a champion.
But that was playoff Lenny that was in the backfield for them. What you doing that year? Like, what did Ronald contribute?
Ronald got him there.
More than Zeke did.
Leonard finished it up. If we run the tape, Ronald was the first 15 and Leonard was the last 8.
So y'all saying Lenny was Nick Foles?
In a way.
Yeah. Nick Foles had a better position, but
but
who were you saying was number 1 corner?
Huh? Oh, Diggs. Like Diggs plays like a Pro Bowler. Like again, you take chances.
Diggs
you
is
get beat sometimes.
Playing corner is the number 1 corner with Gilmore there?
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane. But okay.
I mean,
so which one of them is guarding AJ?
Whichever side of the field he line up on, because I'm like Dan's not gonna have him travel. Dan didn't have Sherman travel. Like
he better have somebody traveling.
Didn't y'all split last year?
Huh?
Didn't y'all split last year?
Yeah, but Dak didn't play the first game. Jalen didn't play the second game. So like we really didn't get to see the teams at full strength. But the last time, both teams had their starting quarterbacks lined up against each other.
Good to know.
Yeah, our quarterback won. By the way, Dak is 8-3
in his rookie year
in his career. Huh?
That was his first year starting where Dak beat him?
It doesn't matter. Dak is 8-3 against y'all.
But I love having Dak as your quarterback because I know I'm going to get the playoffs every time.
Hey, man, that's fine. Both of us make it. He got a few division championships under his belt. It's okay.
That's cute.
They expanded the playoffs for guys like y'all.
Hey,
bro, when y'all the first one, when y'all the first 7 seed, once they expanded to 7 teams.
That's right.
And we won.
No, I'm just saying though, but like that's one of those things. Like they did it, you benefited from it because if they hadn't, y'all would have missed it that year, and he wouldn't have been in the playoffs that year.
What's Dak been in the league 2 years longer than Jalen?
Hey man, we got.
Doesn't even have as many playoff wins as Jalen.
Huh?
He's only started for 2 years and got more playoffs wins.
My guy fell into it. I can't argue against Jalen because they know that I'm a Jalen fan. I was a Jalen fan for he got to the league, so I can't really badmouth him.
Kai, you got anything for the Cowboys?
Nah, man, I just wanted to remind Smooth, like, I'm not sleeping on Gilly. Like, Gilly coming to Dallas, I feel like that's a huge pickup that I feel like some people are trying to write off because he's a little older, but Gilly and Diggs both at corner is kind of scary.
That's a Band-Aid. That's a Band-Aid.
That's no fly zone, Kai said.
Yeah, Gilly, man, hey, I'm saying, don't write Gilly off, man.
Patriots, talk to us.
Oh, my turn now. Hey, glad my turn, y'all. Pretty much on the side of the draft. I feel like it was a decent draft, honestly. It was kind of more so expected of Bill. Wasn't really too much surprise. First 3 picks went defensive. Nothing expected right there. Very excited because I do feel like athletically and for most potential, I feel like we got the best corner out the draft, which we really needed after losing J.C. Jackson last year. We really haven't had, after he left, we did not have an established shutdown corner. We had to put our used to be slot, had to put him outside, and he was getting cooked a lot. So hopefully this kid can take that over and be that shutdown corner for us. Keon White from Georgia Tech. I'm looking to see. I know a lot of people kind of slept on previous couple drafts ago. We had a guy from Michigan, Sam Uchi, who's actually turned into a legit pass rusher. Like dude has became a dog. Wasn't even noticed on Michigan's defense a while back, but he's turned into a legit like pass rusher. So hoping for that for Keon White. A guy Marty Mapu from Sacramento State. I've heard of him before. Kind of curious to see if he can kind of be like another coming of Kyle Duggar for us. But interesting, like I say, all these top 3 picks, this is all just legit Bill's MO for us. Like nothing behind there. One thing I can say, we did draft a kicker and a punter out of this draft. So that should also tell you another key to what Bill, how he does his strategy with the draft. I'd probably say, like I say, we talked about a while ago, I would like to point out one. Bill did draft the only player from HBCU this year, so I want to shout out for that. Isaiah Bolden from Jackson State. And then number one, and then one surprise, the one I was surprised about was Keyshawn Bout from LSU in the 6th round. Guys had some character issues, some off the field issues. I'm not concerned about it. It was a 6th round pick for a guy that was previously discussed as being a 1st round legit talent. So as a gamble, that doesn't really have too much risk. You know, if it works out well for us, hey, he could really become that guy with a potential like down the field threat. Like in college, he's shown that ability to be a number 1 receiver, can take over a game. If he shows that potential, it'd be great. But not, you know, hey, he's a 6th round draft pick. You know, let's cut our losses and move on. So overall, like I say, this draft was just, you know, another Bill Belichick draft.
I've got a two-parter. On a scale of 1 to 10, when you see that the Patriots drafted somebody from a Sacramento State or some school that's not quite as known, how confident are you that Bill's done his research? I know there've been plenty of times where, you know, these guys kind of come out of nowhere and end up being fantastic on the field, and it's like, well, where does this guy even come from? So do you have a confidence to your all's draftability, even if it's from a lesser known school? 1 through 10, I guess, confidence scale.
Absolutely. I mean, case in point, last year our 1st round pick that we got clowned for, Cole Strange. Do you guys, anybody even know here still where he's from?
I don't.
No, he's from UT Chattanooga, and legit dude. I want to say again, I don't have it in front of me, but I want to say he was near top PFL in terms of his pass block rate, in terms of giving up sacks. Legit dude is a dog, and again, nobody heard about it. Bill got clowned so bad for that pick last year, and dude actually has the potential to be an all-pro guard for us. Another case in point, Kyle Duggar, our safety now, he'll be going to year 3 now. A lot of people can't even say his college right. I actually had to look at it again. Leonard Ryan University. Dude is an actual box safety. Dude is a dog for us. Again, from a school that nobody heard about. Dude was a conference play of the year. And like Bill finds these gems that comes from school that nobody's ever heard about. So I mean, these draft picks even to get this guy from Sacramento State, like Bill getting him in the 3rd round, like I will never doubt, you know, when Bill makes those kind of picks. Like I say, 9 times out of 10, I've seen them work out.
I got you, man. Well, that's all for me. We'll head to Avery, then Brian, on any questions for the Patriots.
How many rooms in the Patriots organization are need addressing? Because I know y'all got rid of Damien Harris, went to the Bills. Ramondre's still there, I'd assume. But Damien Harris was a talent for Pats for a minute there. And to give him to the Bills, who are still in the same AFC, I felt like that was I feel like that was a bad move, but I'm not in the Patriots organization. And receiver-wise, question mark? But go ahead, Kyle. I just want to know what you.
With that, I do want to say first off with Damien Harris, man, it did hurt. Dude was a workhorse for us. At the same time, I have some kind of optimism. This guy has had some injuries before, but we signed James Robinson from the offseason, and he's actually been a pretty workhorse in the league for a while now. I really liked him. Like I say, I'm expecting Ramondre to take that over, be the feature back. But that is going to hurt a little bit with Damien.
That was a slightly nicer way of asking how bad you think your team is.
Did Juju go to the Patriots? Did I make that up? Is he the receiver number 1?
Huh?
He's the number 1 receiver, and
that's a familiar place for him to be. Yeah.
What was the question?
Easy now.
I think it sounded like we're curious about Juju being a wide receiver one when it's like he's been a one.
No, I mean, on that, I really don't know. At the same time, like Devontae Parker is still he showed last year sparks like Parker can be legit a wide receiver one. Like
that's a Louisville.
It's hard to, but again, like I say, Bill O'Brien, like I can't say I don't know. We have nothing to go off of from the previous year. Like we know what Bill O'Brien did before. At the same time, it also gives me options too because we're talking about wide receivers. But the trademark back with Bill O'Brien was with the Patriots before was the double tight ends with Gronk and Hernandez. And the fact we brought Gesicki over from the Dolphins and still have Hunter Henry gives me a lot more optimism. I'm excited for see what receivers can do. But for double tight ends, I'm really excited to see what Bill O'Brien can do again, show the magic. We had Jonnu Smith last year from the Titans, and that really just seemed like just a waste of money for what he could have been for our offense that we didn't use him the best way. So I'm really excited to see what both them tight ends can do in this offense, more so than the receivers.
So just for the record, you said that Parker's 1, Juju's 2, and then you just got the 2 wide receivers.
He said a balanced passing attack.
2 tight ends.
He said a balanced passing attack is what he said.
Who's throwing?
I said Devontae.
Hey man, I had a quarterback related question. I'm glad you asked it.
No, I would say if you want to know the legit, I would say Devontae could be receiver one. But in terms of you're asking who is our number one target right now, currently it's Hunter Henry. Like that's legit our number one target right now. In terms of what Juju or Devontae could battle out for wide receiver one, like that could be a legit battle. I don't know who could be wide receiver one between them. But in terms of the passing target, overall, it's Hunter Henry.
We can wager who gets the most targets this season if you'd like.
I'm just curious to know if they're going to be in the draft market for a quarterback the next year. Like nothing really on 2023 draft. Does Mac do enough to make Bill not need another quarterback next year? I mean, hopefully having an actual offensive voice in the room will help. But do we think he's the guy for the future?
Good question.
I mean, honestly, like I say on that, like a lot of people, Matt caught a lot of hell this year, and like I said, I really don't put on. I'll say it was a terrible decision to hire Matt Patricia as an OC. Terrible position. Mac relapsed to all completely as a quarterback, like just totally regressed from his first year. And so I'm legit. I mean, I want to put it. It depends. I don't know. I think Bill has more patience than our owner, the RK. I will be interested to see if RK puts more pressure on Bill if Mac doesn't deliver. I'm not sure. I don't think Bill O'Brien's going to give him any more slack. I think this will be his year. If Mac doesn't deliver with Bill, with O'Brien, I think we could be in the market for a quarterback next year. It also doesn't help. It also doesn't hurt, like, because we still have Bailey Zappi. He's still on there, Chris's boy. That's still pushing on that competition.
Hey, Hilltopper.
I think it is a do or die year for Mac.
But
unfortunately,
what would be the bar? Like what would be a successful year to fend that off? Is it making the playoffs? Is it like winning 9 games? Is it or just showing the progress that now that you have an actual offensive mind in your ear that you're able to actually be an NFL quarterback the way that you looked your rookie year?
No, our owner, we're looking to win playoff games. Like I say, we made the playoffs before, and we got destroyed by the Bills. We're looking to win playoff games. I say getting out of the wild card is a successful season. Anything short of that is a failure.
Curious on the second part of the draft. We'll go round robin. Who we feel like won and why. We'll keep the same order. Give me Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh let me pull up who they got. Broderick Jones, Georgia's offensive tackle. Joey Porter Jr., highly coveted. A lot of people thought he was going early first. He dropped a little bit, but leave it to Pittsburgh to clean that up. And the sleeper is I've been a big fan. I've been a believer. I'm going to continue to believe until I have any reason not to. Darnell Washington, freak athlete at tight end. I see nothing but success for him. So for me, who won the draft? Pittsburgh. We'll go to Avery. Oh man,
you're in the right state. It's if you even Google who won the 2023 NFL draft, it says in bold, Eagles, Howie Roseman. Then the next sentence says Howie Roseman was at it again. That's all you need to write, man. It's not even close who won this draft, y'all.
Are these Philadelphia publications?
Bro, this is Google. Look it up.
I mean, a lot of people are saying a lot of different teams.
Cap, what's the first team you seen? You're muted, Brian, but I know it's going to say.
The one I saw, Pittsburgh, was at the top, and somebody pointed out Pittsburgh, but you ain't got to talk about it.
Where's my camera?
Thank you.
That top one right there, I know it's small, but that says Pittsburgh Steelers. That's the two beside the Eagles, by the way. Not one, two.
They used to that too.
Last time I checked, in order to win it, you got to be one. So, different people have different opinions, man.
I'm not even
going
to argue who won the draft. I'm giving my prediction for the next year. It's Philly over everything. NFC championships. I mean, we got Super Bowl next year. That's all I got to say. On to the next.
As a fan, you should feel that way. We get it.
As a rival, I hate it. I said it I feel like I said it to somebody last year. I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up there. I think I said them and the Saints. But I was never going to tell Dre and Smooth. We ain't got to talk about the 22 season anymore.
Can we admit one thing? That we did not get worse in this draft. All we did was improve. Even in I forgot to mention one more thing.
That offense.
One more time, Kyle.
Was the question of who was worse? Was the question did you guys get any worse this offseason?
Yes, that was the question.
And I said, and my answer to that was, it depends on how much your OC from last year actually contributed to the offense.
Good point.
In other news, we got DeAndre Swift. He's not better than Miles Sanders?
He's not some big bad bear.
He's not better than Miles Sanders? Answer that question.
You're going to get the same production for much less money than you would have paid Miles.
Yeah.
And improvement. We also got Penny and improvement.
You got two backs that can't stay on the field in a run favored offense. Like, they're gonna get beat up. Like, so after they go down, like, then who you got?
Wasn't Penny?
There's a reason Jamal Williams got the shine that he got because Swift wasn't playing as much. Penny got passed by a rookie last year in Kenneth Walker, and then Travis Homer. Like,
he had a vertebrae injury. Like this, forget about it.
We still have Boston Scott, the giant killer. But what I'm saying,
you play the Giants every week, though.
All we do is improve. Y'all have not told me one thing that we have lacklustered on. Have we lost any? We made the Super Bowl last year, y'all. We haven't decreased in any placement. All we doing is improvement. We get to see it.
That's the best part.
We get to watch it. Y'all get to watch all these primetime games of Philadelphia. If you stay up, get you some popcorn, watch a legit team play. And I'm happy for y'all that y'all get to enjoy this with me. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that y'all get to watch this.
Brian, who you feel like won the draft?
Are you talking about in the group or just league wide?
No, league wise. Who you feel like won and why?
It's not a question, but league wise.
Is it weird to say the Cardinals just because they got the Texans first round draft pick next year?
Cardinals was my second pick. Cardinals was my second pick. The Cardinals are impressive. You take a look at it, and I've got them up. Cardinals was my backup pick, man.
The best tackle in the draft. They got Ojulari. They got a solid corner in Garrett. Like, he just was one that was coming off of an injury. Plugged in an offensive lineman or two.
That Louisville DB is not bad.
Yeah.
Louisville was a sneaky good turnover style team. Like the Cardinals was my second pick.
All right. And again, just to get the Texans' first round draft pick next year, knowing that theirs is going to be top 7, top 5, Houston's is likely going to be in the same ballpark just because they feeding in a lot of new pieces. I hope D'Amico Ryans does well, but I don't think it's likely. Why not them? And then we'll see if Kyler is still the quarterback there next year or not.
Especially knowing that they've got 2 potentially high picks, it's like a lot of pressure.
At this point, start it all over. Get rid of Kyler, maybe bring in some more picks.
And now we'll get to see that it wasn't just Cliff.
You're right.
Kyle, who won the draft?
Since we were talking about picks for 5 seconds, the Eagles have 12 picks next year as well. So just be looking for some more movement in the NFL sooner than later. So whatever we address here, I'll send that over to Howie, and he'll make something shake.
For me, I'm probably gonna go with the Lions, man. The Lions first off addressed losing their feature back that went to the Saints. Can't remember his name, top of my head.
Jamal Williams.
Yeah. But got the replacement there. Next got which is I don't even know if it's arguably they got the best linebacker in the draft. Could be a 10-plus year vet, leader of the defense. Jack Campbell's like that for Iowa. They also got another Iowa tight end that actually could be better than the one that left them this season that went to the Vikings. Brian, I had him on fantasy. I can't remember his name.
DJ Hawkinson,
which was also Iowa tight end. They got another great tight end to replace who they lost. And then they got my boy from Bama, who is not even arguably the best safety in the draft, to help with the secondary since they let Jeff Okudah go, which Brian, me and you have this argument all the time, but I think we can say Okudah has been a bust in the NFL.
I just think he want to be in Detroit. We might see something different this year in Atlanta.
That is true. You give them that. And then they also got possibly, like I say, their future quarterback with Hendon Hooker if things don't turn out right with Goff. So I mean, those 5 picks alone, I mean, they addressed some great needs that they lost this offseason.
I think people give them trouble for the order that they took them in. Like looking at it, talking about how they probably could have got Brian Branch at 12 and then maybe Gibbs at 18, and then just like kind of slide them down, talking about when they took them. I'm like, but they still got them where they got them, and they got solid picks and got stuff that they needed.
Right.
Now that Gibbs isn't there, I can say he does have an explosive burst to him. It's like it's there were a few times he was on that field and you just weren't going to catch him. Once he got going, hey, just meet me down there, basically. All right, fellas, signing off with the fact that winners of the draft were the Steelers, Lions, Cardinals, and I guess we'll add in a fan favorite, Philadelphia Eagles. I do think the Eagles had a good draft.
They did, but
the biggest deal draft. It's not a risky pick in Philadelphia. It's a risk for other people.
Well, that's what we're saying. That's what we're saying, Smooth. You guys, you made a pick. You added to a strength of your team. When you add a strength to your team, there's no pressure on that player to deliver. It's when you add to a weakness that the pressure is on. But you guys added to a room that's already filled with people, so there's no pressure on him to deliver or make an impact.
Yeah, but it's also a future pick. That's what it is. You got Jalen Carter and Noah Smith who are going to take over from Fletcher Cox.
You can argue
Brandon Graham. That's who they're taking over for.
Arguably say, Smooth, like Jordan Davis. Like, do we really know, did Jordan Davis like live up to first round pick this year or not? Like, I'm having an honest question.
Absolutely. He got hurt. He got hurt.
Did he make that impact?
Yes. He's a clog. That's what he is. He's a clogger. He clogs that middle. You put him and Fletcher Cox in there, and you had Hargrove. He was outshined by Hassan Reddick, Josh Sweat. You got all these people who's getting all these sacks. He was outshined by that, but he played his role in stopping the run.
Well, then let me ask Brian and Chris. Could you have substituted Jordan Davis for Derek Brown, for example?
It's funny you say that.
Could Derek Brown have played the same
It's
role?
funny you say that. That's the exact same question I had. I feel like they're the same player. I feel like Derek Brown's actually performance-wise, grade-wise, performing better and on a much better pace than what Jordan Davis is doing. And
you can't tell Jordan Davis's pace because of the strength of the defense. We will see it once Fletcher Cox leaves. We will see if it was worthy. That's not going to be this year. And that's the same thing that goes for Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter. You're not going to see those until Fletcher Cox leaves, until Brandon Graham leaves, till Josh Sweat gets hurt. Then we'll see if next man up mentality is an actual thing. We're going to see if they're worth it. Right now, it looks amazing. But
I won't say that out loud. We don't need that recorded.
my goodness.
My cup running over of defensive linemen.
Fellas, as always, we appreciate you. We appreciate your time. We will see you when the season starts. The schedule releases in the middle of May. Hope we all make it to go see and support our teams. I'll find out where I can go see QB1, and looking forward to the process. And it takes some time. The Panthers, if I'm being honest, they strike gold about once every 8 to 10 years. So it's a process, but there's beauty in the process.
Get about 4 to 5. You know, look at it. You struck gold with Cam. You had Luke. You had McCaffrey. You get guys. You know, maybe this is your guy that is the name for your franchise for a while.
Wouldn't rather be anybody else, and that's been consistent. But no, appreciate y'all, fellas. We're signing off. We're always requesting good company, and looking forward to getting this out. Talking to y'all soon. I will talk to y'all soon. Love y'all, man.
Love y'all, man. Bye.
All right.